Hello everyone and welcome back to the HCW YouTube channel and welcome back to another Indie Spotlight preview. Once again we are joined by Alex Connors. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm glad you are a smart wrestling reviewer, as we know, Rate Wrestle, and completely unbiased. I'm sure if Bridge had their way, I would not be here with you. I'm a little bit wary they might interrupt proceedings.
Yeah, so there is a conspiracy which we're gonna go get through, and I'm full on this conspiracy. So as Mr. Connors has mentioned, we are here to discuss Bridge Pro Wrestling's next show, which is brand new level, the Amble Coat Arena. I've been told to pronounce it Amble Coat because it's not cot, it's coat,
Mm.
which is
Or is that just what Bridge want you to believe?
it probably is. And it's Friday, the April 26th, so we're well in advance of reviewing. Um, but this is going to be a good one. First show was very, very good, and I'm glad Bridge Pro are back.
Yeah, I
Oh,
mean, this is, despite the conspiracies and the upper management, this is one of the most hyped second shows a company's ever had. I know we've got huge companies and a great scene here in Britain, but most of them start small and work their way up. And Bridge came out, smashed it. Huge news in the pipeline for Bridge coming up, and this second show is you want to say a make or break, but they pretty much almost already made it. It's really just solidifying that reputation of high quality shows.
yeah, and they've drawn together such an incredible card and stack of
Yeah,
talent, going
and
all
it
out.
goes really well. I just want to say before we get any further, it goes really well with working together with other powerhouses. So we see Bridge, and they've got a guest match on. They share and work with other companies to help promote each other, and that's why they sold out their first show, and now they're going bigger and better. And really exciting news.
Yeah, so for anyone that's not watched this kind of product, we will be discussing Alex's match last because it's the big build up, and for him to discuss it, there's no point of bringing it up in the middle and then nothing else. So that's what spoiler warning. But we're going to kick off with a match with two teams which I don't think they've tagged before, but they've got two nice new names. We've got Night Sky, which is Violet Knight and Mr. Redacted himself. I'm keeping that alive. And they're against really good wrestlers, which is Harry Cruz and Lila Kyle. So a bit of a tale of tape. So Sky lost in his debut for Bridge Pro Wrestling. I've already said his name. God damn it, I do it every show. Against Marshall, Jet Marshall and Wade, but his tag team partner Adam Heidel wasn't very helpful to Redacted either. It's pretty much a 3-on-1 handicap match.
Yep.
Um, this will be Harry Violet Knight's debut for Bridge Pro Wrestling. Harry Crews was a part of the 10-man tag that they had on the show, which he was a winning part of it. And this will also be Lola Carl's debut for the company. So I'll be honest, I wasn't that much aware of Lila. So Bridge Pro were nice enough to let me give a bit of background, because obviously it's nice for people to know what's going on. So, Laura Carlo is based down south wrestling for companies like Reach and Quality Wrestling, who has experience wrestling in countries such as Wales, Spain, and Northern Ireland, so she is very well travelled. She debuted in 2019 in the Midlands at Wrestling 4, teaming with Kelly Six, and competed for Belgian Queens of Diamond Championship to big receptions. What people don't realise, that Lola Carlo is actually born and bred in the Black Country. Um,
Yeah.
she's
So
just
this is a
been very
homecoming.
outside.
You've had
Yeah.
a lot of stuff out for her there, but that was the one thing I wanted to point out is this is really a homecoming. Neither me or you are too familiar with her because
Hmm.
she wrestles much further away, and here in the Midlands, she's probably not a name most of the fans are going to recognise. But for her, it's going to be a real emotional homecoming, and I think we can see that in the fact that she does have good camaraderie with her tag partner, who is from the Midlands, and they know each other very well. On the other side, TJ and Violet, they maybe, I think, know each other less. And TJ had one unfortunate incident with a partner, and now he's got another partner he's never teamed with before, who doesn't do a lot of tag team matches in Violet Knight,
Hmm.
but another very proud Black Country girl. And she's probably going to feel like she should have the hometown support and be a bit offended by Lila coming back in and maybe claiming she's a Black Country girl herself.
Yeah, so both these are not experienced teams, as in like they don't team together at all. But you got people in there that have experience in tag team wrestling. Obviously, Harry Crews, famous for his tag team with Ryan Parrott,
Yeah,
coming off a win in a tag team match, technically in a five-man tag. Violet Knight is been setting the Midlands alight at the moment, so it's a big get for Bridge to bring her in. And it's kind of the battle of, you said like the backcountry darlings is probably the word I was going with.
yeah,
So it's going to be a very good match. And it'd be nice
yeah.
for Redacted to actually have a partner that might not hurt him. So,
We hope so. We hope
yeah.
so, and we know that Violet and TJ Sky have trained together, and they do know each other well enough. I think they will get on really well, but not an established team. I am really interested to see, as you mentioned, with Harry Crews, pun intended, an integral part of the show. They really are the hometown heroes, but he has been wrestling far less because of that. Because
Mhm.
they've been so involved in Bridge, and they really want to be a huge part of Bridge. It means they've not been wrestling every weekend up and down the country for a while, both Harry and Ryan Parrott. So does that mean he's going to be rusty? And I think that will be the key factor to this match. Because although you said they're technically coming off a 5-on-5 win, they were the first two out for their team. Let's not forget that.
Yeah, I tried to give him the benefit of the doubt, but you've ruined that for everyone. um, so yeah, it's very much a kind of like it's going to be a big match. I'm it's kind of hard. I'm probably going to go with the people I know, which is Redacted and Knight, because I said Lola Carly is very much a hidden like entity to me, so I don't know much about her. So it's you always go with what you know. So that's who I'd probably lean towards. But it's going to be an even contest.
Yeah, I've wrestled Violet and TJ, and both were extremely tough opponents, so I'm going to have to agree with you on this one.
Excellent. We will move on to a showcase match for Kamikaze Pro. Having a showcase match. As said, they're very much linked to Bridge Pro Wrestling, so it's nice for them to put on a Kamikaze based match. We've got Edgar Adams, the Speed Demon, versus Nate Riley, Skywalker Nate Riley, the Rise of the Emperor champion, tournament
Yeah.
winner. And this was a big
So
match within that tournament.
yeah, huge history here. And if you're coming into Bridge and you're only a Bridge fan and you've never seen Kamikaze, you will not know how much these two are just intrinsically linked. They are a team, they are zeros to heroes, but Edgar Adams has always been seen as the successful one, the one who's been picking up title shots and big wins against huge opponents. And Nate has been losing every single match until literally our last Kamikaze show where Nate Riley won a tournament that included a win over Edgar Adams. So Edgar's got to be looking for revenge. You think it'll be sportsmanly, but tensions could be high in a new venue because there's no guarantee, unlike with Kamikaze, that both of these guys will be back, and winning is going to make a huge difference.
Yeah, so big debuts for both of them. As you mentioned, Nate defeated Edgar in the tournament,
But
and
Edgar was injured. That was several rounds in, and Edgar was battered after a post-match attack. His ribs were taped up, and Nate Riley took advantage of that, which is not really what you want a tag team partner to do. So Edgar might be looking for a bit of revenge and to show that when they've not had first round matches, he's the better man.
yeah,
And I think people are going to be amazed by how fast this match goes because these are two of the speediest stars we've ever seen.
yeah, most athletic people you're going to see within Kamikaze. And as I said, Nate, we saw a different side to Nate within that tournament, and he like it's been a month or so since that match, but like. Is Edgar fully healed up? That's the question, or is Nate
Yeah,
going to just go for
great
it again?
question.
Yeah.
Fantastic question. And you also wonder, does Nate care about the Bridge Pro Wrestling fans the way he cares about the Kamikaze Pro Wrestling fans? Because you said we saw a different side of him. He really looked like he was willing to cut a few corners, but he was talked down by his tag team partners and by his love of the Kamikaze crowd. Well, he's never met the Bridge crowd. He didn't grow up in front of the Bridge crowd. So I'm interested to see whether Nate will cut a corner to pick up a win or whether Edgar will get revenge and pick up the win.
Yeah, this is going to be a big matchup, especially because this could entail for Kamikaze going forward. If
Yeah.
Nate goes down that route again and just violently, like absolutely batters Edgar in the chest, is Edgar going to be like, "It's fool me once, isn't it? Fool me once, shame on me.
Yeah.
Fool me twice. You're never going to fool me again." I'm going to go. If I had to pick a winner in this match, just on form, Nate Riley is pretty much a form-based wrestler at the moment. And I can see him carrying it on within Bridgeboro?
Ooh, this is the hardest to call for me because I've wrestled both, but I've also helped train both and worked with both for a long time. So my loyalty is really tough to call here. Just to make it an even split, I'm going to go Edgar Adams. It was so close last time, but Nate Riley had an advantage. Now he doesn't.
Yeah, and I also need to be nice because Nate's doing the preview for the Kamikaze show, so if I talk crap about him on here, he's going to watch this and then come on. So we'll go with
Yeah.
that.
Well, but this, I think, if Nate wins this, this is going to be one of the biggest wins of his career because it will be his first time just venturing out somewhere, picking up a big win over really his rival for being the face of Kamikaze Pro Life.
Yeah, one of his closest friends. But yeah, it's definitely one to watch. Next up, we've got Natalie Sykes versus Liam Slater. So a bit of tale for that. Natalie was defeated by Shorty at the last show at Bridge, and this is Slater's debut. And from what I can see, it's a first-time singles between both of them.
Yeah, this is a fascinating match. And Liam Slater needs no introduction. I'm sure people are going to know who he is. But here in the Midlands, maybe not everyone knows who Natalie Sykes is. She was at Wrestle Carnival. She was at the last Bridge show, and she started making some real good indents into the whole country. But where is she based? Up north, under her trainer, Liam Slater. This is a mentor versus student match. And those normally favour the mentor, but this is a chance for you to prove yourself against somebody who might go easy on you, or somebody who's going to know really what your strengths and weaknesses are. It's really interesting that we've got this kind of match on the card. I think it's a really good way to get Natalie Sykes back in a totally different kind of match to her match against Shorty last time.
Yeah, exactly. As you mentioned with the mental thing, Liam's not the kind of guy to take it easy on people, though, is he? Liam's legit, and it's going to be a struggle for Natalie, but I feel like, it's one of them situations which we've discussed many a time for a Kamikaze Brew. She's probably taught him everything she knows, but she's taught everything he knows.
Yeah. You've got to go. I'm going to pick first this time before I let you get in. You've got to go with Liam Slater as your pick, I think, because he's wrestled Cody Rhodes, Drew McIntyre. He's wrestled across the country and the world. He's really one of Britain's top independent wrestlers at the moment. But it's going to be really interesting to have a mentor versus student match and a huge turning point for Natalie Sykes. And although mentors do or don't go easier on their students, for the student, I think they're more driven to beat their mentor. Whereas the mentor's always a little bit proud if the student does well. So she could do something great here. I'm really excited to see what happens.
Yeah, and for people like Natalie's not one to lose. She's defeated people like Ali Catch, she's defeated Imports, Lana Austin, people like Nina Samuels. So she's not like, as I said, she lost to Shorty in Bridge Pro, but she has defeated a lot tougher opponents everywhere else. So it's going to be one to watch, but I'm going to have to go with yourself. I'm not going to split the vote. I feel like Liam Slater is a bit of a hill too far at the moment. But it's definitely one to watch. Like every match on this they've done very well, Bridge, with this card. I'm going to be honest. It's every match I'm very much looking forward to.
Hey you. Yeah, you. Do you like this video? There is a button. It's a very sexy button. It says subscribe on it. I wish I could click on it, but YouTube won't let me. Damn fuckers.
Up a match which just sounds silly. Where they've got a 5-match scramble. So we've got Kemper, Amir Jordan, Samuel Hughes, and Zach Walker, two of the highlights of Kamikaze Pro. And originally it was going to be Has Hype. But from people that follow him on Twitter, I think I don't know what he's actually done, but it looks like he's broke his arm. Has he actually broke his arm?
Yeah, he's out for a good long while, which is a real shame because he just came off a scramble victory in his last match. So he was really set and hyped for this one, as Has Hype always is, but not going to be able to make it.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. Obviously, he came off a big win in Pro, Bridge Pro, Millie McKenzie, people defeating,
Massive,
So get well soon, Has Hype. But they have announced by the time of this recording, it would have been announced, but they let me know in advance because they're nice like that. He's been replaced by Memes. Everyone loves Memes.
Very interesting replacement. Someone who maybe you could say has a lot of similarities to Has Hype in some ways, but has a lot more experience. He's wrestled in the States, wrestled for big companies against big opponents. He will have just come back, I think, from a United States tour at the time. And he's been wrestling for a few more years than has Hype. So maybe a tougher competition, but in terms of a scramble, I think Has Hype was really set for it because he's been winning big in these scramble matches. So if you're one of those opponents, you've got to change your game plan. I believe I'm going to let you speak a little bit about Kemper, who's somebody I've never wrestled, heard of, but I think you know more than I do.
Yeah, so Bridge once again allowed me a bit more information on Kemper. So for people with memes as well, you've mentioned he's wrestling in big companies, and he's been a lot of championships within UBW, heavyweight champion, tag team champion, United Wrestling champion as well. So he's a total contender. Kemper is mainly from Pursuit Pro Wrestling. He's a former champion there. The big thing about Kemper, that would be a big difference, wouldn't it? Big thing about Kemper is he is a big thing. He's 6'6".
Yeah. That I do know.
Currently making waves in the North promotions such as North, Pursuit Atomic, and more. He's wrestled in Mexico last year, which is an incredible stat that I didn't know at all. Everyone has a different dynamic, but obviously Kemper is like the big guy to kind of go against. So there's going to have to be a mentality with Kemper of you need to gang up. I mean, it's like a battle royale situation. You need to kind of take the big guy out.
How exciting will it be to see Kemper in the ring with Zach Walker? We mentioned the Rise of the Emperor tournament that took place recently that Nate Riley won, and in the final, across the ring was Zach Walker. He is 16 years old. He has wrestled some of the best in the country already. He's had some incredible performances against people like Doris, who we'll be talking about later on, as well as Chantel, who who we're going to mention later on as well. Zach is one of the most exciting products that Kamikaze Dojo has produced, and he just has everything about him. He's so quick and athletic, like you'd expect, but he's also charismatic and tough, which I don't think you would expect when you first look at him. So having that contrasting style is going to make this match really exciting.
Exactly, and then you've got people like Samu Hughes, who's found a new form, at least of life, with House of Heritage.
And I think that's something worth bringing up. So last Bridge show, he was involved in that 10-man that you mentioned, and he created a bit of a unit around him.
Yep.
Then at Kamikaze, he's got House of Heritage around him. I think Samuel Hughes has escalated his game so much in the past year. He's fitter, he's been wrestling with the shirt off, and he's absolutely ripped these days. But mostly I think that comes from being a leader and having people around you. So I would strongly suspect that in this chaos of a scramble match, Sam Hughes is going to have some allies, whether it's inside or outside the match. Maybe he's looking to form a new unit, or maybe he brings some with him.
And then what's mental about this match is we haven't even mentioned there's a former NXT UK wrestler in Amir Jordan just randomly in this match. Amir Jordan, fantastic wrestler. He's currently the Rise #1 contender as well. Watch a lot of Rise. And, it's just it's a starlet kind of match. If you were mentioning Amir Jordan as the last person in it.
Yeah, incredible. And to have really 5 people with 5 different paths coming from 5 different places, this isn't a match you're going to see anywhere else. Bridge has really united some of the biggest schools and companies from the very north and the very south. We've mentioned people coming down from the bottom coast, and now we're talking about people coming up down from the north. It's going to be an incredible match. Who are you picking, though?
If I had to pick someone, it's hard because it's a scramble, and I feel like you can't really go upon anything, because someone could just get knocked out for the most of the match. If I had to pick someone, I'd probably go Amir Jordan because of the experience. I feel like he's definitely the most experienced wrestler within that match. But you've got people like Zach who could just pull out something. Like, he won a scramble technically at the Kamikaze Pro.
That's what I was going to say. You've taken the words right out of my mouth. My pick is Zach Walker because as much as this is going to be chaos, he's the fastest and he can get to the right place at the right time. And that's how he won his first ever match. So.
Yeah, it's just going to be silly. Or Kemper could just rip someone in half. Who knows?
Kemper could eat the other 4. And Memes has got to be like the most driven because he didn't originally have this opportunity and now he does. So whenever somebody comes in, you'll see this a lot in wrestling, they tend to win because they're the most driven. Everyone else is frustrated. They're changing their game plan. They're having to think, I had this all planned, and now I've been sort of robbed of that, and somebody else has come in. The person who's coming in, they had no opportunity. They had nothing to do that day, and all of a sudden they're being told, here's a big opportunity. So it's always the person who gets replaced in last who has the advantage, in my opinion.
Yeah, and we've explained that perfectly. It's just going to be absolute, like, who's going to win? No one knows. But yeah, the only way you're going to find out is by seeing it live. Tickets are still available, but they are going mentally. By the time this video comes out, it might not be there.
Yeah. Yeah, they sold out last time, and now this time they've freed up some new seats in the same venue. But that means that they only have a few extras, and they're no doubt close to selling them out as well.
Going to be fantastic, and the hits keep on coming. There's still 3 big matches to discuss. So we're going to break into Chantal Jordan versus Alexis Falcon. Tale of tape for that. So Chantal Jordan debuted at Bridge last show, obviously because everyone debuted technically. Chantal was defeated by Brandon Jordan in his last ever professional wrestling event. And this is Alexis Falcon's debut for the show. And if we're going from form from both of them, they're 3-3 from what I can see, which is an incredible stat.
Yeah, I was going to bring this up. They've wrestled each other all over the place. This is probably the match that you need us to talk about the least, because it's probably something that you've seen if you're a wrestling fan in this country, or at least heard of. They wrestle each other at SWA, they wrestle each other at Rev Pro, so some of the biggest places in this country. And yeah, when it comes to one-on-ones, it's 3-3. Some of those matches have been multi-mans and multi-person women matches and chaotic brawls, but tag matches, but they know each other really well. They are 2 top-performing women in the country. Chantel's going to be annoyed that she lost to Baby Brother last time, though. Surely.
Yeah.
Not only the personal beef that she has with Alexis Falcon, but in front of what you would say is more of a home crowd for Chantel.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
She came and she lost, which I think was an upset. And I think, for me, I'm going to beat you to it. That means Chantal Jordan is going to pull out the win this time. But Alexis Falcon's on a hell of a run. She's been teaming with cheeky little buggers recently, and that means she's faced some great opponents. So this is a really tough match, and another great match for Bridge to have put on.
Yeah, exactly. And I think Alexis might do herself in, because Alexis is the kind of person to wind someone up, and Chantal Jordan is probably already annoyed that her first match in Bridge Pro as if in a loss is probably not the best person to wind up.
Yeah.
I'm just going to go, because, even split, I'll go with Alexis. But Chantal's probably going to kick her face in.
I mean, with a 3-3 record, there's no bad pick, is there? It's going to be great. And really exciting that we get to see the best of 7th series here.
Yeah, and the weird thing is, I think Chantal technically is more experienced. Just looking, Alexis started in 2017. I think Chantal started prior to that, which sounds mental.
Yeah. Well, Chantal is so
2018,
young,
so a year different. Chantal started a year later, so yeah, so young.
It's always hard to judge because Chantal's so young, but she started so young. She's been fighting her whole life.
Yeah, it's just it's one to definitely watch and to check out. There bangers everywhere else, so Bridge Pro have brought that one into it. And then the match, which is the main event, I'm assuming, for the show, but as I said, we'll discuss your match at the end because that's what we're here for. We've got Man Like the Reese making a debut for Bridge Pro versus Millie McKenzie, who's coming off a loss at the first ever Bridge Pro. I would say a shock loss against Azhype, but I didn't expect it at all. This is a huge match. Man Like the Reese is coming off a tour of the US, 7 matches within the US. And I think Millie's back from injury recently as well. She's been injured, hasn't she?
Was her hand for Millie. She broke her hand. She had to pull out of a few shows, and she's got to be really frustrated that she lost. She's going to be really frustrated that she had to pull out of some shows this year. She's going to be looking to come back with a vengeance. Man Like the Reese is on the run of his life. He's just toured the States around WrestleMania weekend. This match is, I mean, the main event in the country that day. No matter what else is happening on that day, there is no bigger match in the UK than Millie McKenzie versus Man Like the Reese. I can't believe Bridge Pro have managed to pull it off. It's really exciting. It's really interesting. I've no idea who to pick. I'm very excited.
Yeah, and weirdly enough, unless it's just not missing, I think this is the first time they've actually faced each other in a singles match as well. Which is a shocking stat, I'm going to be honest.
Yeah, which is very strange because they are both local. You'd say they're both going to have local followings. You'd say they're both Midlands-based wrestlers, and they're going to have any sort of Birmingham, Stourbridge, Wolverhampton followings will all be there to support them. So it's amazing they've never crossed paths. But Millie basically came just a bit before, and then she'd taken off by the time Darice got big. And now she's back and he's on his way up. And for Darice, this is a mountain that you've got to conquer on your way if you want to achieve the same success that Millie has. And I'm sure Darice will feel that he already has, but deep down, he's going to want everything that Millie once had. And to do that, you've got to take it. You've got to beat Millie McKenzie.
Yeah, and obviously Millie's coming off a big loss against Hazard, so she'll want to kind of, you don't want to go 2-0 in your next show. It's very difficult.
This is so hard to call.
I'm going to go Millie. I feel like she's going to fight it back, yeah.
Wow.
Ring rust, getting the amount of matches man like Darice has, it's got to get to him at some point.
I was feeling Millie as well, but I want to go the other way. And this one, I'm not confident enough to agree with you. So I'll say Darice to keep it interesting. Oh, this is going to be one of the best matches we've seen as a podcast here on HCW. One of the biggest matches we've got to witness in person. I just can't wait for it. And incredible for Bridge in their second show ever to put on a match of the country, in my opinion, and probably a show of the country as well. And that's what people were saying who did go to the first one. And if you didn't, you missed out, I think.
Yeah, it's a very hybrid kind of event. Like you've got everything that you need, different kind of matches, big time main events, scrambles, tag team matches with people that haven't tagged before, but they're all very good tag team. It's just gonna be
fun. But that tag match sums up what Bridge is all about, because you're taking the best bits of everything around and you're just filtering it and putting it together. You got the best of Pursuit in there. You got the best of Kamikaze in there. You've got them working with people from other countries. You've got them working with Liam Slater and NXT UK guys like Amir. You're just really taking the very best of each little promotion that's nearby and trying to create almost a supercard. And it's working really well. Really exciting.
Yeah. So you better get down to the Amble Coat Arena. So we're going to get on to my main event.
Mule kick there from Douglas. Oh! That butterfly backbreaker, there's one.
Ladies and gentlemen, your winner of this match, the 21st Century Hero, Luke Douglas!
Just as this match started to explode again, just as everyone was hitting big strikes and big moves and signatures, and it was action all over the place, there came, in my opinion, a very controversial pinfall. Because it looked to me, I don't love Steve Valentino, and I know Bridge Management surely don't love Luke Douglas, but it looked to me like Valentino had his shoulder up. And even more than that, his music, Luke Douglas this was, for those who don't know, he got the win. His music was playing and the bell was ringing before the ref even turned and said ring the bell. So whether Adam was told or whether management were told to make sure that they weren't embarrassed by having me come in and win this match when I wasn't announced, proving everything I just said correct, somebody, I think, played a little bit of a curveball there. And I don't think Luke Douglas was in on it. I think me and him, we may be able to share some matches for you in the future. But I think they just didn't want me to pick up the win, because how embarrassing would that be for Bridge Management?
First, Bridge Management screw me out of my win, and then just when they think everyone's forgotten, they try and screw Luke Douglas too. And there's no video, no face for us to blame it on. In fact, who really is behind Bridge Pro Wrestling? But I knew it wouldn't be Luke. See, me and Luke, we might be selfish men, but we're not liars, and we might have a common goal. Luke Douglas, me and you might need to get together to get to the bottom of this. And let's start with the only person who might be willing to tell us something if we beat it out of him, Steve Valentino. Bridge, I know you don't want me on your show, but if you don't, I'm just going to show up like last time, so your move.
Unbelievable. So I get a 3 count. My music plays, the bell rings, and yet now they're saying there was controversy about what happened. There is no controversy about what happened. There was a 3 count, my hand was raised. So at the end of the day, this seems to be only a problem between 2 parties. Bridge Pro Management, who seemed fit to rule my match a no contest. For what? Alex Connors mentioned the conspiracy, and I'm starting to agree with it. I'm really, really getting on his wavelength. Now, the other person to blame in this situation is Steve Valentine. Steve, there was a 3 count. Your belly aching and complaining has now caused this situation where I'm angry at 2 parties, you and Bridge Pro. So I will be at Bridge Pro Wrestling, and I might see you there. I might see Alex Connors there. See what happens.
Debut at World War Wrestling has happened, and now it's time to address Bridge Pro Wrestling. So, I've never said anything, I have never complained, I have never made a single thing. I lost that match, simple as that. I think I kicked out, but guess what? When you take the L, you turn that L into a lesson. Lesson is, kick out sooner, simple as that. But, Alex Connors, Luke Douglas, you've decided to come together in a little conspiracy with your tinfoil hats on, and you put a target on my back. 2 of you, 1 of me. Well, luckily, I don't ride alone anymore, do I?
New World War Wrestling Tag Team Champions. You don't run alone with the Dead Sea Souls. And guess what, Bridge Pro Wrestling? Me and Valentino, CJ Rawlins, the Unpredictable. We're coming to Bridge Pro Wrestling, and we're coming to take out Alex Connors and you, Luke Douglas. We'll see you in Stylebridge, boys.
Hooks up, baby. See you soon.
Dead Sea Souls, CJ Rollins debuting. I love CJ Rollins, fantastic wrestler. Teaming up with Steve Valentino, the man that lost cleanly at the last show. Well, supposedly. And he's teaming against the team out of my dreams. We've got Luke Douglas, who won the Fatal 4-Way matchup, and Alex Connors. Actually, the bias towards this team is unbelievable on this channel.
Team HCW, Team Great Wrestle in the building. I wondered if you'd had some words with Mr. Parrott to make this happen. Yeah, this is based off the 4-way that happened in the last show, where Luke Douglas seemingly didn't beat Valentino clean, but they rang the bell anyway, and then they reversed the decision. So what went from Luke Douglas won on the night was then stripped from him, but also it robbed anyone else a chance to win that match because they rang the bell early and started playing some music before the match had even ended. And I'm sure we might even be able to post a clip in here of, or if we've already played it before we talk about this match, of Valentino getting that shoulder up, what seems to be before the hand comes down. Then they go and strip Luke Douglas. So a few people have been robbed here. A few people don't want to admit who's behind these decisions. I know we've mentioned some people who are involved in the running of Bridge, but I've got to wonder, are they just a front? Are they just a face? I've been to a lot of companies where the promoter or the hand doesn't want to say who they really are, and they've got a few faces. I'm sure Bridge has a lot of friendly faces, but I'm sure there's an unfriendly one somewhere just out of sight that we're not seeing. So this has boiled down into a tag match between 2 people who've never teamed together, but do know each other very well, against, well, a team who just won tag team titles this weekend. And they are 2 of the best wrestlers. And I can't deny that they are 2 of the best, CJ Rollins and Steve Valentino. But I want answers. And if they're in the way, then we're going to go right through them.
Yeah, do you know what it sounds like, though? Do you know that the reverse? It sounds like a certain GM of a kamikaze variety would do that kind of thing.
That's true.
Yeah,
that is true.
And then it probably would never happen again.
Yeah, not the first time I've been screwed out of a win. very interesting that you point that out. I hadn't noticed it. It is very similar indeed. But I think whoever is behind it just really wanted to protect their faces, their boys, their chosen people, whether they win or lost. So why not ring the bell a bit early and then strip Luke Douglas afterwards? That way you can keep your guys safe and they don't have to win fair and square.
Yeah, exactly. Because so what you keep. Valentino wasn't happy, and he moaned enough that they reversed the decision months later.
Yeah, months later, and not a video. No one was brave enough from Bridge Management to come out and have a video of face to face and say, "Here's why we're doing it." Just a little poster. Let's hope nobody announces. Let's hope no one notices. Let's just pull that victory away. Meanwhile, while I'm there in the heat of the match, I'm standing less than a foot away. I'm watching Valentino kick out. I don't break up a pinfall because he's kicked out. The bell goes, and the music plays, and the match is over. Very suspicious indeed. But let's not forget that there was 4 people in that match. CJ Rawlings wasn't one of them. He's a new addition to this mix. So very exciting. You've seen, I've wrestled him a few times recently. He's hard hitting, he's high flying, he's one of the best in the country, as this show is stacked full of. But he and Valentino, they are a team. They go way back. They know each other really well. And they're in sync lately. So it will be tough for myself and Luke Douglas, but it'll be worth it if we can find out what is going on at Bridge.
Yeah, and surprisingly, I think you know who I'm picking in this match.
Team HCW.
Did see Souls? No, no, yeah, there's no chance. No chance they're going to win.
Can we call it? What's best? The Rate Wrestle family, Rate Wrestle United.
I'm going to turn up with a tennis racket. That's what's going to happen. A suit and a tennis racket. That's what I'm going to turn up with.
I'm very excited as well to team with Luke Douglas. Very strange that hasn't happened even just as a one-off before, because a lot of times at shows that we're on together, Kamikaze's one that we're on every single month together, but there's several others. You will team up with somebody just for a one-off beef, especially if you're similarly thinking. And we've seen myself and Luke work together in 6-mans, in 8-mans, in Rumbles. If on Instagram, I've just posted a few clips of me and Luke working together in a 6-man and hitting double team moves, but actually never been a tag team anywhere, even for a single second. So it's good that Luke noticed he was getting robbed and he's not going to lie down and accept it. I'm really glad that he's seen the light and decided to do something about it. I'm very excited to be at Bridge Pro Wrestling.
You say you've seen the light. But that brings ahead to the end of this preview. Just a stacked card. As I've said, get your tickets now because you're going to miss out because it is going to sell out. VIP tickets are pretty much sold out, but you can upgrade them if I remember seeing on the thing. If you speak to them. Get them now because you're going to miss out on a massive, fantastic event at the Amble Coat Arena.
And it wouldn't surprise me if on that event we got a number of big announcements for the next show. And I think there won't be quite as long between show 2 and 3 as there was between show 1 and 2. So if you're really excited about the lineup on Bridge, get to this show, watch great matches, but get involved in what's going on at Bridge and get into the story and the atmosphere and find out what's happening next as soon as possible because it's going to take off and it's going to take off quickly.
Exactly, and as usual, like and subscribe. If you want some in-depth fittings throughout the review for the previous show, we've got that up on the channel as well. We've got a preview for that, so if you obviously you're new to Bridge and you want to know what's going on, check it out. Alex's Instagram's been on the screen. His Twitter will be down below. He doesn't want people to know it's there, but it is there. But yeah, like and subscribe. Our channel's subscribers have gone up massively. I don't know if you've seen that, Alex. We're now at 506 subscribers. Don't know where that came from. He's had enough. But that's goodbye from me.